Hello, everyone. Today, we'll demonstrate our Agentic AI solution for HCP funnel and intelligence mapping. This solution helps life sciences and healthcare organizations understand how patients flow through the healthcare ecosystem and how healthcare providers influence diagnosis, treatment, and outcomes. Instead of manually analyzing fragmented claims data, prescription records, and scientific publications, this system automatically generates end-to-end provider insights, patient journeys, and actionable intelligence. It combines AI-driven analytics, clinical reasoning, and external research sources like PubMed to deliver a complete view of the healthcare landscape. In most pharma and healthcare organizations, understanding the HCP funnel and patient journey is highly fragmented. Teams typically perform multiple manual steps: analyze claims data to identify patient populations, track treatment sequences across providers, identify key prescribers and specialists, segment patients by disease stage or therapy, analyze prescription behavior and trends, manually research physicians and their clinical expertise, cross-reference publications, and trial participation. This creates several challenges. First, data is siloed across claims, prescriptions, and research sources. Second, deriving meaningful insights requires significant manual effort. Third, identifying high-value providers or key opinion leaders is time-consuming. And finally, decision-making becomes slow and inconsistent. As organizations scale their analytics capabilities, this manual approach becomes a major bottleneck. SimplAI HCP funnel solves this using Agentic AI-powered healthcare intelligence. The system can take inputs such as healthcare claims data prescription and treatment data provider, and patient mappings, external scientific data, including PubMed publications. Once data is available, the system automatically performs patient journey mapping across treatment stages, provider profiling and segmentation, treatment sequence and regimen analysis, advanced disease and stage identification, prescription behavior and adherence analysis, cross-referencing providers with PubMed-based publication records, identification of key opinion leaders, KOLs, trialists, and influencers. This enables a 360-degree understanding of both patients and providers. Let's see how the system works here. We enter our query in natural language. After entering the query, we trigger the run. As soon as we trigger the run, the agent creates its plan and starts executing each step one by one. We can see that the agent orchestrates all the tools it has and starts using them. It provides input to these tools and is now waiting for the output. We have received our response. Let's take a look. We have all three medications that are the top 3 in the claims data. There is also a visualization for these in a pie chart. We can give feedback to the agent for the response it generated. If we want to give negative feedback, we just need to click here. We then add a comment, which helps the agent learn and adapt. This response looks fine, so we give positive feedback. We can also download this response in docs. Now, let's enter another query. Here, we want to see the publications that have been published by Dr. Lisa Carey. We have entered the query, and now we are triggering the runs. In this stage, the agent first queries the claims data to get details about Lisa Carey. Based on that information, it then queries PubMed by API. PubMed plays a critical role here. It is a globally recognized database of biomedical literature containing millions of research publications. This system uses PubMed to identify physicians who publish frequently, analyze their research focus areas, detect involvement in clinical trials, and map scientific influence within therapeutic areas. This allows the system to go beyond operational data and include scientific credibility and expertise mapping. As we can see, the results are here. We have 3 publications by Dr. Lisa Carey with all the details. As the agent processes this request, we can see everything happening in real time. All the traces are available, showing how the agent orchestrated its tools to meet the end requirement. We can see the input to each step and the output from every step. Tracing is also visible in a waterfall manner, so we can know the latency each step has taken. Now that we have this visibility, let's talk about improvement. We maintain multiple versions of the agent, where each agent can differ in prompt design, tool usage, model selection, and workflow logic. This allows us to experiment safely without affecting production and roll back instantly if something breaks. We can compare versions side by side, just like traditional software. This creates a controlled release cycle for the agent. Now let's zoom out from a single run to the bigger picture. This is the run history. Here we can see all past executions of the agent over time. Every request and response is stored. Full traces are available for each and every run. Performance trends are tracked over time, and both failures and edge cases are recorded. This becomes incredibly valuable because we can debug the issue after the fact. We can analyze patterns and failures, track improvement across versions, and understand real user behavior. So instead of having isolated runs, we now have a continuous record of how the agent performs in the real world. To ensure reliability, we don't rely on random testing. We use a structured data test dataset. This dataset includes expected inputs and the expected outputs. Let's create a test dataset and see how this works. Here we have entered the name for this test, and we have options for multiple versions on which we can run this test. For now, we are selecting the latest version. Next, we are going to create the dataset. With the help of the assistant, we enter the prompt to create the dataset. The assistant has created the dataset. Now we see that we have both the input and expected output columns. This dataset looks fine, so we will click on Create Dataset to finalize it. Now that the dataset has been created, it's time to set up the evaluator. Here we are selecting LM as the evaluator. We will give a name to the evaluator and enter the prompt for the evaluator, which we will fill with the help of AI. As we can see, the evaluator prompt has been populated, so we will just click on Test Agent. As we click on the test agent, testing begins on the dataset that Assistant generated earlier. The first test case from the test dataset has now been evaluated. Let's see what results we have. We received the score along with an explanation of why the AI assigned that score. We also received the trace ID, so we can review how this particular test case was executed. Now we wait until all the test cases are executed. All the test cases have now been evaluated. We can see the average score displayed here. We can also run this dataset on a different version of the application and compare the performance. Now we move to the most critical layer of evaluation. Here we evaluate the agent using historical run data or future conversations. Let's look at how this works. We have the option to select the version of the application. Here we are selecting the latest one. If we want to evaluate future conversations, there are two options. Run immediately, where the trace is evaluated as soon as it is completed, or schedule the run for later. Let's proceed with the evaluation. Based on past conversations, we have the option to select traces that will be evaluated. Here we are selecting only 4. Now, let's set up the evaluator. Here we are also using the LLM, which will act as a judge. We will populate the evaluator program prompt with the help of AI. The evaluator prompt has now been populated. Next, we click on the Save button. As soon as we click on the Save button, the evaluation starts. During the evaluation, we receive a trace ID, which allows us to see how the agent orchestrated and ran each tool. We get a score for each run, along with an explanation. As you can see, all the traces we selected earlier have been evaluated. We also receive the average score. The combination of the test dataset and evaluation gives us a consistency check across runs and helps with early detection of regressions. This increases our confidence before deploying changes. It also answers important questions. Is the agent actually improving? Which version performs better? Where does it fail most often? So instead of relying on intuition, we make data-driven decisions. Once we are confident in performance, we deploy the agent into real-world systems. This agent can be integrated using APIs. We have options for multiple APIs, such as chat initiation, continuing a previous chat, getting the full conversation, and listing all conversations. This agent can also be integrated using webhooks, embed code, A2A configuration, and third-party apps. Lastly, this is not just an AI agent. It is a complete lifecycle system built with intelligence absorbed through tracing, tracked over time with run history, improved through versioning, tested with structured datasets, measured through evaluation, and deployed into real workflows. That's what makes it truly production-ready. This solution delivers strong business value, faster identification of high-value HCPs and KOLs, improved targeting for medical and sales teams, better understanding of patient treatment pathways, 60 to 80% reduction in manual analytics effort, data-driven decision-making for strategy and engagement. Organizations can now align clinical insights with commercial strategy more effectively. Traditional analytics tools provide static reports, but Agentic AI goes further. It combines multiple data sources, applies clinical reasoning, enriches insights with external knowledge like PubMed, generates dynamic workflows, and delivers explainable outputs. In this solution, AI doesn't just analyze data, it understands the healthcare ecosystem and builds intelligence around it. In summary, this solution shows how Agentic AI improves HCP funnel analysis and provider intelligence. By combining claims, prescription, and PubMed research data, organizations get a complete view of patients and providers. This drives smarter targeting, stronger engagement, and better patient outcomes. Thank you.